The First Amendment lives here. And the 2A2. The Daily Mojo.
So it's good to see you again, Raven. Thanks for making time. And I know you just told us you got in late last night. And
Yes.
First of all, is this a shock to the system without the hair? It's just temporary. But every now and then I gotta wash myself off.
It's nice and it's clean, but I gotta be honest with you. That's some women's kryptonite. The ability to just you gotta fear the beard, guys.
Hold on a minute. I am writing that one down. Fear the beard. Got it. Thank you for that one. That's worth $1 million right there. All right. So you just got back from the road trip where you got to
Yes.
dance with Phil Bell. Tell us a little.
I did. Yes, at Mar-a-Lago, 16 chandeliers and, President Trump opulence. It was awesome.
That's very cool. So you were working it wasn't all pleasure. It was, you were getting some work done
Correct.
behind the scenes,
Yes.
and, getting the job done. So we are thankful for you doing that. You think you're ever going to run for public office again?
It's a strong possibility, but what I'm deciding now is where I can do the most good. There's so much that needs to be done. We need help in the schools. We need help with the border. It's just,
Right.
I've got that warrior blood, and we right now, we don't have 2 years. This is not a drill. We got to get it done fast. So they can assure that I will be there in some capacity, giving everybody hell.
Sometimes you can get more done, I think, out here than you can in Washington, but maybe that's just me. All right, so let's start with. I just mentioned the Biden is off the ballot in New Hampshire. They're scrambling. What's the short story on what happened up there? Do you know?
Well, yeah, they're scrambling, but not in the way people think. So this is all part of the plan. So they know Biden is falling apart. They know he's not going to make it. So the real scrambling is going on behind the scenes right now. So yes, he's off the ballot in New Hampshire, but they're still running full speed ahead with the narrative that this guy is fine, nothing to see here, no silver alert going on at 1600. It's great. Most people trip over air and confuse their wives and sisters.
Right.
So that's what they're going with. But they are really, if you really pay attention what's going on the other side, we've got a new challenger that's come in. He's being completely ignored by the Democrats. Minnesota congressman who's worth $77 million. He's heir to the Talenti Gelato fortune, and not even a whisper. He's going to get the same treatment that RFK, the redheaded stepchild treatment that RFK got from the Democrats. But who they are putting in the spotlight a lot more is Gavin Newsom. If for most people who don't know, that is Nancy Pelosi's greasy nephew.
Yes, and we have it on good authority. He's also a lizard person up underneath the human suit. So. Just saying, we don't have
I hadn't
definitive
heard that
proof,
one.
but
I
we
was
think.
kind of thinking that's where our strategic oil reserve went, is somewhere into his hair. But at the end of the day, he's starting to show up everywhere. I mean, he was in China meeting with President Xi on climate change.
Right. Existential threat.
Well, no, actually, he's trying to negotiate a better payoff than Biden got.
Oh. Well, and Newsom is likely to be the guy the Democrats pick, don't you think?
Yes. I mean, just being tied to Nancy Pelosi, I mean, she's not going to give up, her vodka soaked power for anything. So she would, It's in her best interest to have her nephew, some nepotism going on there, so she can still subtly keep control of our government. And that's the problem we have right now. It's not term limits. We need bureaucracy limits. It's these people who've been here for decades wrecking and we can't get them out. They're like cockroaches. We can't get them out now. They've been in there for decades.
And the problem is, because we always say, you get what you deserve in California, up in San Francisco, if you're voting her in year after year. But after the 2020 election, I'm not sure that they really are. I'm not sure that it's not the voting machines that are reelecting her each year, which is a possibility.
Correct. And that's why we've got to be diligent. That's what I tell people. Oh, they're cheating. Well, we know that. What are you going to do about it? We have to be bigger than the cheat. It is possible. Donald Trump did it in 2016. Everything was stacked. Everything was ready, for Hillary. And He broke that algorithm. So now we got to take that momentum and use what we learned and take our country back. There's more of us than there are of them.
Yeah. I was going to say they can't put us all in jail, but I don't want to tempt them because it's like something stupid they might try. All right. So which brings us to Donald Trump out in Colorado. I was reading that story yesterday. What's going on? They've managed to keep him off the ballot in Colorado. Is that right?
Yes, they are. They took him to court citing the 14th Amendment and his inciting an insurrection, which, again, he's not been convicted of. There's no evidence of that. We're still waiting on the J6 tapes to show exactly what happened, which Kevin McCarthy didn't release. We are waiting on Speaker Johnson to release them so that we can see the small bit of footage we've seen showed Capitol Police waving people into the Capitol, and they completely ignored that. A little over a week ago, we had a Capitol full of people while Congress is in session, chanting, ceasefires and having to get arrested. I mean, nobody's even talking about that. That disappeared out of the news instantly, but not convicted of anything. But they're going to try to remove President Trump from the ballot in Colorado. And what I would say to patriots out there is we are Sharpie ready. If that's the best you've got, then, we are ready to write him in. I will hand out free Sharpies to anybody who wants to vote for President Trump in Colorado.
It really, I was going to say it's baffling. It's not baffling. It's just dumbfounding how far the machine is going to try to keep Donald Trump out of the White House. They are terrified of this guy getting reelected.
And they are terrified, but they are showing the American people left and right what they are about. It is not their decision who gets to run for president. And the fact that they've gotten to the point where they feel like they can decide who we, the people, put up to be governed by, because we're not being governed at this point. We're being ruled. And that's what we have to dismiss, is just say, listen, guys, why does Gavin Newsom out in California get to decide whether he's on the ballot? What does that have to do with climate change or any of the other nonsensical issues he's wasting money on? Doesn't he have a train to nowhere to fix? This is we the people. We decide. This is who it is. And that's what should outrage people, is that this is communism. This is silencing your political opponent, putting him in jail, arresting him, bogging him down. This is communism.
And you mentioned RFK a little earlier. The fact that Biden refuses to give him Secret Service protection, again, mind-boggling.
Correct.
Especially given that family.
He's a legacy. The Kennedy name is a legacy in this country. And the fact that, they won't even acknowledge him. And there have been incidents. It's not like he was asking for it just because it would be nice. There have been incidents against his safety and that of his family. And they have completely, locked and turned their back on him, in a nay vote. So he's jumped into the independent ring, but it's really troubling to see that people are allowing this scathing double standard, with Biden while they continually, relentlessly attack Trump.
And see, that's the difference, I think, with our side, is the fact that I feel for Kennedy. I really do. I don't agree with him on his policies, but I feel for him. He's out there. He says some things I do agree with, but the fact that they won't give him Secret Service protection is, again, it really flies in the face of any common sense whatsoever, and should show everybody what this administration and what this bag of bones in the White House is really all about. And I don't see why they don't see it. I guess they just choose not to see it.
Well, I'm just telling you, it's good time to remind people, Brad, that this is what freedom is. Freedom means that my parents fought for the right of people who disagree with me vehemently to do that, to have freedom of speech, to have the freedom to own guns. Well, why do you need a gun? Well, that's the beauty of the Second Amendment, is I don't have to tell you anything. It doesn't say if leftists agree with it. It says absolute. And it wasn't written after deer hunting. It was written after liberating a country. And a lot of people don't realize the founding fathers, many of them paid a steep price, Brad, for our freedom. These people signed their death warrants as traitors to give us the freedom we have right now. And we're so easily to give it away and let these politicians tell us that we don't need as much of it. It can't happen. Many of them had their fortunes stolen. Some of them had their wives and their family killed. Some of them were captured and tortured and executed. This is real deal, people. People died for your rights. Don't give them away so easily.
And, I just hope that we can convince the youths of America, the younger generations that have been bamboozled into somehow thinking that socialism is a good thing, and which is of course the road on the way to communism. But that's why we have to keep reaching for the kids and just making sure that we get the message across to them. That's why this government wants to get a hold of the kids in kindergarten and before, so they can start indoctrinating them. And we've got to somehow combat that.
That's what I'm out here doing. I'm out here talking to the people I'm engaging. We have to be willing to do that. We can't give up on this younger generation. This is their country. It's going to be their country. So we have to, it's our responsibility to teach them to love it, to teach them how to fight for it. And it starts when each one of us decide, Brad. And I mean, you're right, but we're we can't understand this generation. They're lost. They're not lost. We have to work harder. If we're not any match for them, we're not any match for this communism. What are they going to do with it? So we have got to lead by example and go, hey, come here. I mean, we had to listen to this ad nauseum, didn't we, from our parents back in my day? Yeah. We had to walk uphill both ways in 10 feet of snow with no feet.
Exactly. On nubs, the end of our calves. Well, and we've got people like Anthony Blinken. Did you see this? That what he dressed his kids up as?
That was absolutely.
Volodymyr Zelensky, and his daughter was wearing the Ukraine flag for Halloween. And
they were appropriately getting candy and freebies from the White House. It doesn't get more profound than that.
Does that not look like a pack of cigarettes that Biden is handing out right to the kids? It's like a pack of smokes.
He is giving. Brad. He's giving candied cigarettes. That's been in the news.
Is that what those are?
Yeah.
Oh wow, and to be fair, I love those candy cigarettes. You bite them and they were great, but it just seems a little tone deaf these days. Wow.
And to be fair, he has no idea what he's giving out.
No, you're right. He doesn't. He does not have any idea what's in that box. You can't write parody this good. All right, Raven Harrison, always a pleasure. What can people find over at your website, ravenharrison.com?
They can find everything that's going on. I'm keeping up with the current events. I'm keeping up with the votes, the things that people need to be wary of. But I remind people to get involved. It's got information about Raven PAC, who we're supporting as candidates, and just what the government is doing while you were sleeping. So I want to keep people. Excellent. An informed patriot is a strong patriot. So I'm letting you know this is not for you to yell and scream. It's for you to be informed. Now you know what's happening and how you can get involved. Verbs in the sentences. Here's what's wrong. Here's what we're going to do about it.
The First Amendment.
Did you know that you have rights? The Constitution says you do.
Lives here. Watch and listen at thedailymojo.com.